In 2007, Kobe Bryant was one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, and yet somehow was on the verge of being remembered as a loser. He had 3 rings, but all of them came with Shaquille O'Neal, and ever since the Big Diesel left town, Kobe's career had been in a free fall. He missed the playoffs, got bounced in the first round twice, and no matter how many 40-point explosions he dropped, it didn't matter. Because in the eyes of the media, of the fans, and even some of his peers, Kobe wasn't a champion anymore. He was selfish, couldn't win without help, and at one point, it got so bad, Kobe went on the radio and begged to get traded.
You're still under contract with them. Are you saying right here on this show that you want to be traded?
Yeah, I would like to be traded, yeah.
The Lakers had failed him, and the basketball world was ready to close the book on his legacy, but then everything changed. Just one trade, one missing piece, Kobe's career was reborn, and he went from almost forgotten to unforgettable. This is the story of the deal that saved Kobe Bryant's legacy. When Shaquille O'Neal was traded to Miami in 2004, it was more than just the end of an era, it was the start of Kobe Bryant's most painful chapter. Because for the first time in his career, Kobe was on his own. No more Shaq to carry the paint, no more Hall of Fame help, it was just him and a supporting cast that looked like a lottery team. And that very next season, the Lakers fell apart. They went 34-48, missing the playoffs entirely, something that hadn't happened since before Kobe was even a starter. Their second best player was probably Lamar Odom, and they started Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, not exactly a championship contender. Kobe was electric, he could still torch anyone in the league, but his greatness was starting to feel meaningless. In 2006, he averaged 35.4 points per game, the highest in nearly 20 years. He dropped 81 points on the Raptors, still the second most in NBA history, and he outscored the entire Dallas Mavericks team through 3 quarters. But none of it mattered. The Lakers barely made the playoffs in 2006 as a 7th seed and blew a 3-1 lead to the Suns. It was a complete meltdown. Kobe was dominant in the first 4 games and then barely took a shot in Game 7. Analysts crushed him for it, fans turned on him, and the whispers were getting louder. Now, the 2007 season brought more of the same. Kobe kept scoring, the Lakers kept losing, and another first-round exit again to Phoenix. But this time, Kobe finally snapped. He called out the front office in interviews, said the team wasn't trying to win, and then on live radio, he made his feelings crystal clear.
You're still under contract with them. Are you saying right here on this show that you want to be traded?
Yeah, I would like to be traded, yeah.
Now, he didn't say it just once, he said it over and over again. He even went as far as saying he'd rather play on Pluto than returning to the Lakers.
And I'll go play on Pluto right now.
It was pure chaos. The trade rumors exploded. The Bulls were close to a deal, and so were the Pistons, but every package the Lakers got back just made things even worse. At one point, a trade to Chicago was nearly done until Kobe found out it would cost the Bulls Luol Deng. He vetoed the deal himself because he wanted to win, not start over. So there he was, stuck in Los Angeles, surrounded by players who didn't belong in a contender, wasting away his prime. He was 28 years old, in the middle of his physical peak, and the Lakers, one of the NBA's most historic franchises, were turning him into a cautionary tale. From the outside, it looked like Kobe Bryant had everything, but from the inside, he was watching his legacy slip through his fingers. And the worst part, it seemed like nobody was coming to save him. Just when it felt like Kobe Bryant was out of options, the Lakers pulled one of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. On February 1st, 2008, the front office sent Kwame Brown, Javaris Crittenton, Eric McNee, 2 first-round picks, and the draft rights to a little-known prospect named Marc Gasol to the Memphis Grizzlies. In return, they got his brother Pau Gasol, a 27-year-old all-star big man who could pass, shoot, rebound, and run the floor. In an instant, Kobe Bryant had a real co-star. In the reaction around the league, it was pure disbelief. Greg Popovich, the head coach of the Spurs, literally called the league to veto the trade. Analysts said it was unfair, fans said it was a gift. The Lakers somehow had turned Kwame Brown into Pau Gasol, and just like that, the entire Western Conference was on notice. But more importantly, Kobe Bryant was locked back in. From the very first game Pau played in the purple and gold, it was obvious this was going to work. He fit into the triangle offense seamlessly. He gave Kobe the spacing and IQ he never had post Shaq. He didn't need the spotlight, he just needed the ball. And the results were instant. The Lakers, who had been floating around as a fringe playoff team, went 22-5 after the trade, and they finished the regular season with 57 wins, their best total since 2000. In a matter of weeks, the story had completely flipped. Kobe went from trade baiting to a a title favorite from a frustrated star to the leader of a rejuvenated dynasty. He had waited years for help, and now he had it, and he wasn't wasting any time. Now, the Lakers didn't just get better after Pau Gasol arrived, they became a problem. As in the months following the trade, LA tore through the Western Conference. They swept Denver in the first round, took out Utah in 6, and knocked off the defending champions in the Spurs. And just like that, they were back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 2004. It was everything Kobe had been waiting for, but standing in their way was the Boston Celtics. A team built almost overnight around Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, the original modern super team. And they didn't just beat the Lakers, they flat out humiliated them. Now, Game 6 of those finals was a nightmare. The Celtics won by 39 points. It was the biggest blowout in a closeout game we have ever seen. The Lakers got out-muscled, they got out-coached, and they were outclassed. Kobe Bryant scored just 22 points, and for the second time in his career, he left the finals without a trophy. But something shifted after that loss. The way he looked walking off that court, bruised, frustrated, and silent, you could tell it wasn't over, not even close. Because in 2009, the Lakers came back with a different energy. They won 65 games, they had chemistry, they had a mission, and most importantly, they had Kobe on a mission. This wasn't a reckless 40-a-night kind of Black Mamba. He was still lethal, but now he trusted his teammates. And when the playoffs came around, the Lakers absolutely destroyed the West. They handled Utah in 5, beat Denver in 6, and punched their ticket to the finals, this time against the Magic. Now, Orlando was a great team. They had just taken out LeBron. Dwight Howard was dominant, but none of it mattered. Because Kobe, well, that man was on another level. He averaged 32 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists across the entire series. He set the tone in Game 1 with 40 points, and 5 games later, he held up his 4th championship trophy. But this one, well, this one meant everything. Because this one didn't come with Shaq, this one was his the moment he proved all of his doubters wrong. But yet again, his story still wasn't over. Now, the 2010 season was much harder. The Lakers had more wear and tear, they didn't dominate every game, and yet somehow they made it back to the finals. And waiting for them once again was the Boston Celtics. It was a rematch of 2 years prior. This wasn't just a quest for another ring, this was revenge. Now, the series went the distance, 7 games of hard fouls, bruised ribs, and defense-first basketball. In Game 7 at Staples Center, it got ugly. Kobe shot just 6 for 24 from the field, but what he lacked in efficiency, he made up with everything else. He pulled down 15 rebounds, made key defensive stops, and kept his composure when the Celtics lost theirs. Ron Artest hit a dagger 3, Pau Gasol outmuscled KG down low, and when the final buzzer sounded, Kobe had done it again. Back-to-back finals MVPs, and his 5th ring. And then came the line that would live in NBA lore forever.
He's got one more than Shaq.
Now, with that win, Kobe didn't just match his expectations, he shattered them. The man who supposedly couldn't win without Shaq had now done it twice. He had just led the Lakers to 3 straight finals, he had avenged the worst loss of his career, and he had proven once and for all that he was more than just a scorer. Kobe Bryant was a leader, a champion, and the architect of one of the greatest redemption arcs in NBA history. Before Pau Gasol ever stepped foot in Los Angeles, Kobe Bryant's legacy was in serious jeopardy. The narrative around him in 2007 was clear. He was a brilliant scorer, sure, but a selfish player who couldn't lead a team. He'd been to the finals 3 times, and every time Shaq was there to carry the load, but without him, Kobe couldn't win. At his best, he was viewed as the greatest scorer of all time, but not a champion in a full sense of the word. And the fact that he hadn't won a title without Shaq meant a lot of people doubted that he ever would. But fast forward just a few years and everything had changed. Because after 2010, Kobe wasn't just seen as a Lakers franchise player, he wasn't just an incredible scorer, he was the champion. Winning back-to-back titles instantly erased the notion that Kobe needed another star to win. Kobe's leadership, maturity, and ability to take a supporting cast and make them a true contender is what cemented his legacy in the eyes of the basketball world. He had become the player that everyone feared, not just because he could score 81, but because he could carry a team to the finals and win. It was a complete transformation. The Kobe we saw post-2010 wasn't the same young star from 2006 shooting 30 times a game and alienating his teammates. ways. This Kobe had learned to win with others. He had learned how to be an unquestionable leader even when his body started to break down and he wasn't physically the same player he once was. His competitive fire never wavered, but now it wasn't just about the stats, it was about rings. And in the years that followed those two championships, Kobe's place in NBA history was never questioned. He had proven his worth as not just a great player, but a complete player, and his influence on the game has become undeniable. Superstars like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum all cited Kobe as their idol, quoting him as their inspiration for work ethic and mentality. Because his Mamba mentality, the idea that you don't just play for the love of the game, but for the relentless pursuit of greatness, took on a life of its own. And Kobe has never stopped talking about Pau Gasol and his role to redemption. In interviews after retirement, Kobe said that without Gasol, those two titles would have never happened. That trade, that acquisition of a co-star, didn't just save Kobe's career, it saved his legacy. Kobe Bryant will always be remembered as one of the greatest players of all time, but after 2010, he was no longer just a great scorer. He was a champion, but this time, it was on his own terms.